Hi, good evening, friends of SIBKL and friends of your friends. Okay. When I walked in and look at some who are more senior than me, I'm getting panicky because this session, my target audience is actually youngsters, millennials, people who are starting off with a career, deciding what to do with their financial affairs. Okay. But for the seniors, if you already know a lot of stuff, just take this as a refresher. Okay, you may agree or not agree with how I manage my personal finances. Okay, let's see where this can take us. I just love to talk about this topic. Why? I'm the living testimony of it. Okay, how I structure my kids' education. I'm 55 in another 5 years, probably be retiring. If my boss allows me to stay, of course I will, but if he doesn't, I think I should have enough okay, to retire. So, the living testimony, I've been using all these very simple, logical, commonsensical methods to manage my personal finances, and it has been working quite well. Okay. It's very simple. Basically, 4 keywords here: know, control, grow, and protect. Know where you are, know where you want to go, control your budget, control your everything, grow your assets, okay, and protect the precious. I'd like to declare that today is not a sales talk. I'm from an asset management company, but I'm not selling any products today. Okay? If I inevitably mention some of the products, that's because those can be used to achieve our financial objectives. Okay? I know this is a CSR stuff, you're not supposed to sell anything. Okay? May I have a show of hand, how many of you know exactly how much cash you need to retire when you hit 60? How many cars you want to own when you hit 60? How many dogs, expensive dogs, you're going to have when you hit 60? And how much debt or debt-free you're supposed to be at 60? Can I have a show of hands? Nobody dares. Of course you know, right? Nobody dares to raise your hand. I can tell you, I know exactly. 20, 30 years ago, I really worked out the sum. I know how much I need to have. When you call Grab, what is the first thing you punch in? The destination. And you're just going from one place to another, A to B, right? And this will probably impact whether you retire rich or you retire in destitute. And yet, you don't bother to find out where you are going. Okay, that's kind of ironic, right? So, I think you really need to know your financial objectives from now. Okay, let's say you're 25, you have another, 35 to go, or if you are 45, you've got another 15 to go. So you need to know, we really need to know, because at 60, if you don't want to take too much risk with your money, your investment, you really need to know your cash portion, your properties and all that, and all these assets, how much is going to yield. Why? Because there is no more money coming in. Assuming my boss or your boss is not going to extend your contract, and you don't have a running business to conduct post-retirement. So you're basically living off the yield, the returns from your assets. Okay? So you need to know. But this friend of mine, many years ago, he was just sitting next to me. Okay? He married a Hong Kong girl. I think we are same age. He married a Hong Kong girl, and he entered the Hong Kong financial market as a stockbroker right before the massive bull run in China stock market, all the IPOs, all the what's not, okay? They stopped doing anything. At this precise moment, he's horseback riding in the Andes, Patagonia. Heard of this place? That is the kind of life that he's leading up right now. Holiday abroad, okay? You may have your dreams, you may have your so-called CSR dreams. You want to set up a folks home or a animal shelter or whatever, okay? Your children's education, retirement, some charity or whatever. These are all your so-called your B, your point B. You must know. If you don't know anything, you haven't decided, please lock yourself in a dark room, okay, and start writing it down. Everything that you want to do, your bucket list, things that you want to achieve. Okay. How many of you has got this? A balance sheet of your personal finances. Can I have a show of hands? Who can tell me, and of course you don't have to tell me, right? You tell yourself, at this precise moment, I have net worth X amount. Who can do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm still talking about a very small majority, right? 10, 15, 20%. Okay, if you don't know where you are, okay, here is Wisma Maran. Later I'm going back to SS2, my house, right? If you don't know where you are, how are you going to call Grab? So this is the situation you are in right now. You don't know where you are. So where do you know what you need to do to get to your destination? Okay, so go back, review this. Very simple. You don't have to be an accounting degree holder. Liquid assets, list down all your cash, fixed deposit, stock investment, unit trust. Your fixed assets, car, be realistic. Car depreciates in value. Your house, okay, and all your liabilities, the outstanding. List it down and find out how much you have your net worth. You should know, yeah. After that, do a profit and loss statement of yourself. This you probably already know. If you don't know, do something about it, because this is very important. If you don't know anything about this, very likely you have a very huge, I'm talking to the younger guys, okay? The older guys, the seniors, please bear with me. If you don't know about this, probably you have got pretty huge credit card balance, or you're making the personal bankers very, very happy by taking their personal loan. Okay, every time they call you, you say, yeah, it's cheap, okay, I'll take it, 10, 50, 100,000. Okay, you probably make them very happy. At the end of the month, for the younger ones, your primary income, let's say you work as in the case of David here, is a digital marketing strategist. Secondary, he may be driving Grab at night, you don't know, right? It's good business, good money during your free time. Then you have your gross, then you minus all your monthly expenses. If you don't have an excess down here, you're in trouble. If you don't have an excess down there, you're in trouble, because 30 years later, you end up with one house paid off, one car paid off, and no cash. Okay? So it is very, very important when you manage your finances, especially young ones, they're coming out, there must be an excess. If there is no excess, what do you need to do? Either you increase your primary or secondary income and decrease your expenses so that there is a balanced excess. I'll tell you why you need to have the excess later. So how do you enhance your wealth? Very simple. The assets column, you need to enhance the value, right? Okay, I don't think you can do much with the cash. Fixed D is very slow. I just placed one fixed deposit. You know what the rate now? 2.6. My goodness. So low. Yeah, it's 2.6. I mean, it's online. Okay. Stock investment, unit trust, cars, house. Cars and car is a depreciating assets. Houses has not been depreciating for quite a while already. Okay. Then on the liability side, you need to reduce it so that your net worth will go up. It's very, very simple, right? How many are doing this? How many are looking at things from this perspective? Okay. Then for the seniors, you may say, I'm loaded. I've got quite a few million stashed away here and there. I don't need you to tell me what to do with my money. Okay. My answer to them is, if you're rich, very, very likely, I don't think your assets are optimally managed. optimal. When I say optimal, it means you're taking the appropriate level of risk commensurate with your risk profile. Okay, let me go straight into that. This concept I learned it from an offshore bank. Okay, in Malaysia, most guys, when you talk about risk, they'll mention one thing: what is your risk profile? Are you a medium? Are you a low risk conservative guy, or you're a daredevil? You're very, very aggressive. Not so. Risk tolerance is when we are born in a certain environment, being brought up in a certain way. Somehow we are just very, very conservative, or every weekend you see me in Genting Highland. Okay, so that's my propensity to gamble, to take risks. That's my tolerance. Okay, risk capability. If I'm 25, every month I've got access, I put all my money in FD, you have a problem. Because your capability to assume risk is a lot higher than the 80-year-old guy. But you put everything away in a fixed deposits or in a savings account. That is a problem. Your capability, your tolerance and your capability does not match. Okay? You understand the concept? I could be 80 years old today. I'm sitting on 5 million cash. Okay? I put everything into a small cap fund. Okay? Dow Jones has been dropping 3.5% a day for the last 2-3 days. I just checked the Dow futures. It's down another 1.5. If you have your whole 5 million into an American or US growth fund, I think within these few days, you have already lost close to 10% of your money. So at 80, my risk tolerance could be very high because I grew up as a gambler. I grew up as an entrepreneur. I took risks. I built assets. That's where I am today. But my risk capability is actually quite low. Because once I lose this, I may not have the time to make back. Okay? So ask yourself this question. Go home, ask yourself this question. Am I a risk taker or am I naturally a very conservative person? If you're a very conservative person at a very young age, okay, I'm looking at a few here, okay, you need to tune yourself out of the conservative mindset because you're not taking enough risk. You're not doing justice to your money. Okay, I'll tell you how later. We are done with no already. Let's talk about control. How do we end up with an excess just now? You need to control. Okay? Of course, it's a little bit outdated. I just went to ATM to take out some cash just now because I'm still pretty much a brick and mortar person. So how I control my budget, my monthly budget is very simple. I know I need 2,000. Every month, when I get my salary, I go to the ATM, I press the 2,000, I put it in my drawer. Right? So 1 month, 4 weeks, right? So I got $500 allocation cash. So every Monday I'll go to the drawer to take out 500. I put it in my wallet. Okay? It's very, very effective. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll continue to spend. If Friday, I still have got 300 there, okay, I will be calling Elvin out for a drink. I've not done that, okay? If on a Friday, I only have $50, okay, my Saturday and Sunday, very likely I'll be eating nasi lemak kosong. This is how you control, right? So that you don't spend beyond what you have. Okay, the bankers probably don't like to hear this. I use credit cards, but I use it very, very rarely. Okay, it is very convenient, but it is not good for budgeting. Okay, and right now, because of all the e-wallets, it's getting more difficult, right? You can do the same thing. Your touch and go, you just load, say, $500 every month. You can control the balance. You know where you spend your money. So just control that $500, 500 ringgit. At the end of the month, you load another 500 or something like that. So you could have ATM 500, e-wallet 500, okay, and maybe credit card, you just track it separately, also another 500. You can continue to use your credit card to accumulate points. Okay. This is very, very important because without this kind of budgeting, you very likely you will not have the access at the end of the month. Okay, talking about control your debt, that's very important. What is a good debt? Your mortgage, your housing loan, and all that is a good debt because your assets will appreciate over a long run, right? Education is a good debt. If your primary income is not sufficient, maybe it's about time to think about taking a diploma in something, maybe an IT diploma or something like that. So these are all good debt. Okay. Business ownership, business debt. What is bad debt? Credit cards that charges you 18% if you don't pay, your cash advance. Every time a banker calls you to offer personal loan, please don't take. Why? Because the banker will tell you, I'm charging you 4.5%. Very cheap, right? Read the fine print. It's 4.5% flat. So the effective rate is 78%. Okay? So don't take it unless you're really, really broke. Okay, then you think of a way out. It's better to borrow from your parents. I think it's cheaper. or free, right? Okay, cash advances, you go to the credit card, cash advances is 5% sunk cost. You whack you 5%, and on top of that is 18%. Very, very expensive, okay? Auto loans, same thing. Mercedes, BMW offering you the 1.88 and all that. Okay, you times the number of years, okay? Those days, how banks trick people into buying cars that they couldn't afford, 9 years loan. The moment you sign on the dotted line, you pay 9 years of interest. Flat. Okay? Extremely expensive way to finance a vehicle. Okay, you look at me, I'm a very simple guy, right? I'm a very simple guy. Please don't live beyond your means, right? When you live beyond your means, you will be mean living beyond. Okay? If you look very mean, living beyond. I tell my kids this. Okay, sometimes their pressure, peer pressure from friends, right? They come back and say, hey, Dad, I just went to my friend's bungalow. The father drives a damn fast car. The bungalow is huge, it's so comfortable, right? And I just thought, okay, you want to call him father? This is your father here, okay? This is how much I have. Okay, true friends don't judge you for what you have, but who you are. Okay, so let's be realistic. Okay, we have rich friends, we also have poor friends, but we have to be answerable to ourselves, obviously. Just look at Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg. In his signature gray T-shirt. Wearing umbrella and cheap clothes doesn't mean you're poor. Remember, you have a family to feed, not a community to impress. What you have in your bank account, how big your bank balance is, you don't have to show anybody. You just feel good. Okay, don't get me wrong. If it is very, very important after you work very hard, make a lot of money, to buy a very fast car, to please yourself, it is fine. As long as you can afford it, right? Don't buy it to please others. Buy it to please yourself. I think it's fine. The other thing is when you engage, when you take on more debt, additional debt, make sure the usage of the debt is to produce a return that is higher than the cost of the debt. So if you're taking cash advance from credit card, paying 18% plus 5% cash advance fee, you better be damn sure that you are putting your money into a high growth stocks that is going to produce at least about 25% return. And for something that will give you 25% return, what's the risk? Yeah, will be as high as that, right? Okay. So this is very important. Return of investment has to be higher than your cost of debt. If you keep doing this, you're fine. If you do the other way, you're going to have more and more very high cost debt, but your return side is not catching up. Okay, this is our specialty as a fund management company. I'm showing you, this is not like super updated, this is until 2016. But I can tell you, this is a chart of Dow Jones for the last, I think about 30, 40 years. Okay, here I'm going into the investment side. That's where I'm trying to explain, if you are young, you're capable to take risks, don't be too afraid of the market. You're going to buy the market, every month you just put $1,000 into the investment every month for the next 30 years, okay, into something that will grow, say 12%. Is that possible, 12%? Is 12% a reasonable return for investment? If you're in stocks, yes, right? S&P 500 US produced 11.69% return over the last 40 years, on average, every year. Okay, so if every month you put $1,000 into this account to buy S&P 500 index. Okay, this is KLCI. This is not a very good picture because we have got our 1997 Asian crisis, we have got our capital control and all that. So Malaysia is not a very efficient market. The US one, yes, not Malaysia. But even Malaysia, you see, over a long run, is uptrend. You would have put 1,000, set it aside, that grows at 12% for 30 years. Say you start at 25, you retire at 55. You will have 3.5 million. Just 1,000. Is this number realistic? Very, very realistic. We have, you're looking at 1. Okay, I'm not looking at 3.5. I didn't start when I was 25. I start much later, so I've got a lot less. Okay. 12% you think is too high. Let's look at the scenario of 8%. Is 8% very high? What kind of investment produce or give you the 8% return? Basically, an 8% is a dividend kind of investment. You would buy a whole bunch of dividend stocks, your Carlsberg, BAT, Amway, Maxis, DG, a whole baskets of dividend stocks. They'll probably give you around here. 4% on the dividend yield, 4% on the capital gain over a long run. Okay? Or you may have a balanced kind of thing. 50% in stocks, 50% in bonds. Will probably give you this kind of returns over a very long run. Even with a conservative 8% return, okay, after 30 years, you get a 1.5 million. So when I did the calculation a few years ago, okay, my kids are still in school, my son is in the 3rd year, my daughter is in 2nd year, they haven't come out to work. But when I did this calculation, a few years ago, straight away I told them, I'll start for you first. When you come out of work, you take over, can or not? Because I don't want to miss out that few years they are in school. It makes a difference. I'll show you a chart later. It makes a difference. So it's better to start. When is the best time to start for your kids? Their retirement fund. When they are born. The day they are born, you start, okay, this number will skyrocket. You will go to 7-8 million, if you will start. If you will accumulate this number for a good 40, 50 years, this number can be 7-8 million. Okay, we know where we are going, we control our budget, control our assets, everything, right? Then we grow it. We learn to grow it. Last thing, we need to be able to protect it. Okay. I spoke to Sandy. Sandy is in the insurance line. Whatever I'm going to say later, the insurance agent may not like it. We don't like it because many years ago, in my first job, I have a colleague who was an actuarial science major. Okay, we're good friends, so he taught me a lot of things. So of course, when you first came out, what do? You get approached by insurance agent, you buy a policy, right? It is so important. A lot of people look at insurance as insurance. Insurance is not insurance. Insurance is risk management. You're managing risk in your life. Okay, it's very important. You're managing risk against your earnings capability, against the safety of your kids, against uncertainty and deterioration of to prevent the deterioration of your lifestyle. Okay, so when he told me this, I told my insurance agent, you give me the biggest coverage possible for the premium that I can afford. Most are thinking, I just have to pay a lot for 10 years, then the insurance policy will pay by itself for the remaining life, right? Those are the worst policy. Why? Because you pay so much in the first 3 years, and you work out the investment return that this policy is giving you will not be more than 4%. Actual assumption of insurance policy are typically 3 to 4%. That 3 to 4% I just put in S&P 500, I'm making many times more. Don't do that. Get a policy that has got the highest coverage with the lowest premium. Insurance agents don't like to hear it because the premium is low. But as an individual, I'm managing risk, I'm not doing investment. I want to do investment elsewhere that's going to give me higher return, not here, not in the insurance policy. You understand? Yeah. Term. Ask for term. Term life. Okay, what I did many years ago is I told my insurance policy, the agent, give me a term, but give me a little bit of life. Why do I want to do that? Anybody know? Mine is a 90% term, 10% life. Why do I want a life portion? I don't care how much I'm going to get back 20, 30 years later. My cash value could be very, very small. I don't care. But I still want a life there. You know why? Because of the cash value, even if in those days there is no auto debit, this kind of stuff. My policy would not lapse if I don't pay. It will continue. Can you imagine? Mine is a term that I pay on a yearly basis. The day it expires, something happened to me the next day, and I haven't paid it. I'm not covered. Okay? So it's very important to do something that has got a bit of cash, life element in it, that it has got a cash value so that your policy won't lapse. Okay, that's very important. And then this is against uncertainty and deterioration of lifestyle. What does it mean? If I'm drawing 10,000 a month, I'm living a 10,000 a month lifestyle, okay? Ultimately, my coverage should be high enough when I'm not around. My wife or surviving family member can just take the entire insurance, put it in FD, they continue to withdraw that 10,000. That is the concept. But if you do that, how many insurance companies are selling the 4-5 million kind of policy? Very few, right? When I asked for 1 million coverage, the insurance company asked me to fill out a few pages questionnaire to detail all my assets, liability, everything. They just want to make sure I'm genuine. Okay, so I have to give them a fact sheet. Okay. It's a nice concept. It's not easy to do because if you want 3-4 million kind of coverage, your premium will likely be very, very high. But you will have your EPF, you will have your own savings. So I will be quite happy if you can cover half. Let's say you have you need 4 million, you can cover 2 million, I would say it's quite alright. Something that you can afford, and yet it solves for at least half of your problem, and the other half will be taken care by your EPFs and your own savings. Okay, so the concept of insurance, don't think of it as a savings. A lot of people say, I buy insurance policy because I want to force myself to save. No, that's totally wrong. Insurance policy is not for savings, it's to protect you when you're not around. Buy coverage, don't buy returns, don't buy savings. Okay? And you need to buy. You really need to buy. Why? Because when you need it, nobody is selling to you. Think about that. When you need the policy, nobody wants to sell to you. You buy it when you really absolutely don't need it. That's when your premium is the lowest. Okay, it's very easy to calculate. Let's say for every 1,000, let's say your salary is 1,000, your coverage should be 400,000, because assuming you're not around, you need 400,000 to generate based on a FD return of say 3%, so that your family member can carry on with their life without any deterioration on the lifestyle. Okay, and this is 1,000, right? Of course, most of us make more than 1,000. Let's say 5,000. How much is that? That's 2 million coverage. How many insurance companies are selling you a 2 million policy? Not many. I heard there are more nowadays because of inflation. So this 5,000, of course, most of you will be 5,000, 10,000, 15, 20,000. Right? Just imagine what kind of coverage you need. Okay? Just think of covering half of it. Not the whole thing. Okay, a lot of people cari makan with different skill sets and some model, they go and insure the legs, right? If you're a singer, you may insure your voice and all that. These are all risks. This is all your cari makan tool. If you do rely on certain assets in you to produce the income, okay, you probably have to think of insuring them. Okay, the first part is done. Any questions? I'm talking about the B40, the M40. Okay, they are definitely not prepared for retirement. You look at all the numbers, it's pathetic. Average balance in the EPF accounts of Malaysian population, okay, is less than 50,000. What can you do with 50,000 when you retire? I don't think it's going to be a good life. EPF sets 240 as a new minimum savings at age 55. What is 240,000? I don't know. It's not enough for me. Yeah, this is the number. 86% of urban households do not have savings, and 65% of EPF account has less than 50,000. Okay. These are all the numbers we put out from the press release. 65% have outstanding debt, and 50% of them finish their savings within 5 years after retirement. Okay, I don't think you want to go back to McDonald's. Go to McDonald's and bus trade just like those uncle auntie in Singapore, right? Okay, that's the kind of situation we're talking about. I need to show you something. This is just coverage about inflation. Inflation is very real, okay? Especially in Malaysia. These are real human beings. Ben, Alexis, and Huyen are my colleagues. We're just using them to illustrate. The top guy, Ben, he started saving when he was 25. He saved 250 per month, okay, investing in an 8% return kind of investment. Okay, he saved for 10 years until 35, then he stopped. He stopped. Whatever he saved for the first 10 years continued to produce 8% return per annum till his retirement at 60. He has 460,000. Just this particular scheme, 250 a month for 10 years, stop. Okay, just like the insurance policy. You service for 10 years, then it stops. You carry on. Alexis is a bit more diligent, okay? The girl is a bit more diligent, but she only started saving when she was 35, 10 years later, okay? She saved and saved and saved for a good 25 years until 60. She only have 375,000 based on the same return of 8%. She only has 375 and she has to save a good 25 years versus bank, only the first 10 years. Okay? Hu Yan, she started at 25, she stayed all the way till retirement, 60 years old. She has got 879,000. Double all these guys. Okay, what should you conclude out of these three cases? Start now. Now. Not early. Now. You haven't done anything using this regular savings kind of method for your retirement. Please do it now. Or tomorrow, go and talk to the banker and say, every month I got 500. You know. My kids, I just started about 3 years ago. Each one of them is only $500 a month. You know. Each one of them has got easily about 30,000 each, really, just on this, of course, excluding my inheritance. For inheritance, I will tell them, right? Yeah. So it's very, very powerful, this particular method. But make sure the investment vehicle you choose is a proper one. If you don't know what to do, just go and buy an ETF, exchange traded fund, something that you know, an American stock market that is growing very, very steadily. Of course, you may say Dow Jones is 29,000, 30,000 point, has been dropping now to 26, it may drop further. It doesn't matter. Every month you're only putting 500. You're not making a very strong decision today to just load in my 1 million. If you are splitting your entry to the market for a good 30 years, there are like a 360 different entry point with small bite size. What is the risk? What risk are we talking about? As long as the stock market is on the way up. Why should the stock market over the very long run be straight line up? Anybody thought about it? I'm telling you, it should. Okay? Human nature. Greed. Growth. If you don't grow, market will not support your stock price. If I continue to grow, I continue to make money, the money will go back to the company to enhance the earning per share, and enhance the shareholders' fund of the company. When the shareholders' fund reaches a certain level, the price to earning ratio will drop. When price to earning ratio drops, you will say this stock cheap. I go and buy. I buy it up. The stock market behavior is a human nature behavior. It's basically, we are naturally upwardly mobile. We want something better for ourselves. We want higher salary, we want a bigger car, we want to live in a bigger house going forward. So that's naturally upwardly mobile human characteristic that will ensure the stock market over the long run will be trending upwards. Of course, certain markets are doing better than the rest because there are less government interference and they are good and they have many, because of the institution, it encourages innovation, encourages entrepreneurship and all that. Look at all the big companies now, all in the US. Okay, I've been enjoying this 3,000 deduction on investing in PRS for my income tax return for the last 7 years. The tax break is supposed to extend to 10 years. There are 3 more years. We suspect they may extend further, just to encourage people to save on PRS, private retirement scheme, rather than relying solely on ETF. Okay, and Just to tell you how powerful this little thing is. I was a product director, I was a product head when we did the PRS, when we submit the proposal to Security Commission to say we want to offer PRS as a product. I put up the paper, and because everything we did ourselves, right, we forced our staff to buy PRS rather than EPF. You know how we do it? 16% EPF contribution, right? Okay, our company pays 16%. 12% statutory. You have to contribute, right? The 4% goes to PRS. That's 7 years ago. On top of that, that's from the company. On top of that, every month, I just instruct my bank to credit or to send to my company 250 ringgit to buy the same PRS, so that at the end of the year, I don't have to ask. In my tax return, I just fill in the 3,000 deduction. Okay, assuming you are bracket 20%, that's already 600 savings. Okay, so I've been doing this and this, right? That's 7 years ago. I just checked my PRS statement. When EPF announced the 5.45%, I just compare with my own PRS with so-called savings. I have a few hundred thousand inside. Just PRS, not EPF, just PRS. I have a few hundred thousand inside. I didn't even know, because every month it got deducted from my pay slip, right, my salary, and then I instruct the bank just deduct $250 from my account. 7 years later, I have a few hundred thousand. And I bought into the moderate fund only. Our moderate fund did about 6.3% per annum over the last 7 years. That's matching EPF's return. So it's very, very, very powerful, this method of regular savings into something that is growing at least about 6, 8, or 12%. Is up to you. Okay? Especially powerful when you don't know if you are doing it. When you instruct the bank to do it, the automatic one, you make sure your account has more money, you just take it out, and time value will work in your favor. Yeah. And for the young ones, and for those who have got a lot of money, who are not in the market, okay, you don't want to take risks, all the money in fixed deposits, I can only say one thing. You split your entry into hundreds of times. Okay? You have 1 million today. Okay? Over the next 5 years, you know the market is going somewhere. You don't want to do it one shot, you just spread it over across the next couple of years. Every month you just put something. Because over a long run, the market is always showing you a trend. You try to, I don't have the chart here. You try to Google S&P 500 30 years trend, 30 years chart. You go and look at the chart. It's super impressive. One straight line, all your so-called subprime crisis 2008, the dot-com bubble in 2000, or your Asian crisis 1997, or your dimes stock market crash in 1993, you still remember. All these stock market crash, right? You look at the long-term trend, it's just a bit. So if you continue to invest over a very long run, you better be invested. If you're not in the market, you're actually losing.
How do I make a decision whether I should buy into active funds or passive funds, or how do I split my money, and how do I tell, for each individual how I should put my money locally or?
If you need a financial advisor, that's for sure. Somebody to talk to you on a regular basis. If you're lazy to read up on your own, you probably need to engage an agent or maybe talk to a banker. They would have their super model portfolio at what point of time, what fund is fashionable or should perform. My colleagues are not around. I think I can tell you the truth.
Maybe then,
The truth is, buy into a good index, low cost, forever.
so you're talking about tracker funds.
Yeah.
Better buy tracker than discretionary.
If you buy discretionary, you will pay more, and sometimes the fund manager performs, sometimes they don't. Okay. I personally, I would do a tracker fund. But if you are more aggressive, you're not happy with your 12%, you're not happy with the 11%, please engage a good fund manager, of which we are one. No, some of us like 15, 18, 20, 21% return. So it depends on your so-called return requirement. If you are happy with the 8, 9, 10% kind of stuff, I think a tracker fund is good enough.